Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and today I would like to share with you all a very dense package. This was actually sent over to me by Steven over there at WorkKnifeBalance. Go check out his channel. If you haven't heard of him, what the hell is wrong with you? He's a really chill guy, and every once in a while, I'm not super consistent with it unfortunately, but he hosts the WorkKnifeBalance live stream every Wednesday night at 9:15 p.m. Every once in a while I hop on just to make a fool of myself and have a good time with these guys, and of course learn plenty from them. But I know majority of what's in here, and it's a butt ton of knives that I get to check out and share with you guys. And one of them is actually, it already does belong to me. I sent it to him, he's just sending it back. Anyway, let's get into it. The unpackaging knife is going to be this is the Pyrite Light, CGRB Pyrite Light. Pretty freaking great value knife. It's been in the pocket for like 4 days straight now, and it's not gonna be leaving really anytime soon. It's pretty darn good. So I put a pretty delicate edge on there, and I think I might have gone a little too crazy when it came to how laid back I had the edge. So, but I know it's like a freaking scalpel, so I'm using this because I don't want to cut into what's in here, because it's supposed to be a knife pouch, like a nylon. Yeah, so it's a large nylon pouch. Okay, cool. Thankfully I didn't cut into it, so we're gonna go ahead and be like animals for a second. Let me just make a couple little close cuts off screen real quick, and this should be good enough. Okay. All right, we'll start with this guy. The bottom one, not super interesting. It's a knife I already showed you guys. It's my compact Chad. But what's in here is a butt ton of Kunwu knives, and one extra one as well that I will share at the end. So this is probably the extra one, possibly. All right, so bear with me. I don't know specs, basic materials or stories behind these 4 models of the examples. I think Kunwu only has like maybe 9 to 11 models, I think. But these are some of the earlier ones. Let's go ahead and start over here. I'm gonna go ahead and just go through them all. I'm not trying to make a crap ton of small videos on every one of them. I will spend a little bit of carry time with these. I will be as gingerly as possible, because these are not mine. These are going back to Steven. So I believe this is the Orion 1. It's just a flipper tab. Oh yeah, that's a good looking blade shape. I really enjoy that. Look at that blade shape. It's very long drop point. Oh man, that's nice. This was, I believe, the I want to say like within the first 3 models, first one or second, or possibly even the 3rd model they ever came out with. The detent is on the lighter side. If this was my unit, I would actually tune it up a little bit because it is just a flipper tab. I think that if this had flipper plus stud, I think the tension from the frame lock here would be wonderful for some semi-aggressive studs. But for the flipper tab, because you're able to put so much force behind it and it's well gimmed, that's beautiful. I like that. Because it is very well gimmed, it's very comfortable. You could put a lot of power, a lot of leverage to get that blade out, so it almost feels like you're not able to wind up the finger right before it actually releases. So I think this is a pretty good looking knife. It definitely feels great in hand. There's some meaningful jimping here on the back. I love that. That's something we don't see a whole lot anymore. Jimping has almost, I feel, has gotten lost a little bit in translation with OEM companies. They think maybe it's a visual aesthetic for tacticalness. No, jimping is supposed to be useful and meaningful, and these feel good. They're not super aggressive, they're not super spaced apart. I like it. Here on the spine, it is a little bit thin to have put jimping there, but it would have been cool if there was some there. This is obviously an inappropriate way to choke up on this because you're right on that flipper tab. But if you really, really wanted to, for whatever reason, I guess you could put just the first little digit right there. But yeah, I am absolutely captivated over this blade shape. It's just a very long drop point. I think it's very attractive. And let's talk about this finish here. This is an eggshell, very, very heavy eggshell texturing with some hollow micro mills all chamfering around on the edges. That is very beautiful. A mill titanium pocket clip to match, non-reversible, not a big deal. It looks to be all TA construction. Yeah, maybe not that pocket, sorry, not the pocket clip screw. The over travel stop. Sorry, a little bug over here. That's probably, yeah, okay, so that's a T6. The pocket clip is also a T6. What? These look like they're T8s. Okay, I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore. So I'm just, whatever I think is coming out of my mouth, and that's kind of how I do these first impressions. But those body screws look large enough to have been T8s, I guess the face of them, but they're T6s. Kind of weird, but I'm sure they're machined well enough. Here we have a beautiful pivot collar, as you can see. All right, so that's that guy. This is, yeah, so this is the Orion 2 in M390. So that's pretty darn cool. That looks to be the factory edge. I don't know if he's really used this a whole lot. He's probably just stropped this. I mean, if that isn't the factory edge, whoever did sharpen it, oh, it was pretty freaking clean to me. So, yeah, that's good. That's good. Of course, ceramic bearings within the pivot. And I believe they might be the really large, like multi-row ceramic bearings that Kunwu uses. Well, that's cool. Damn, that's nice. That is really freaking nice. I just, my favorite part about that is the blade shape. It's a really good looking knife. All right, the next one here, I don't know what this thing is, but there's a lot going on here, and it's definitely a whole lot more compact. At the end of this, I will show all of them, all four of them, you know, stacked essentially. I won't really be pulling stuff out of my personal collection because I'm just here to showcase the stuff that I'm getting to check out today. So you have a traditional rear flipper, you have a mohawk styled front flipper with jimping practically all the way over. That's quite nice. And a hole. The hole looks like it might be kind of just decorative, but I'm sure you can get it just fine. We're gonna go ahead and just mess with all deployment methods. Flipper tab, I mean, that's pretty freaking nice. Front flipper, yeah, that's pretty darn nice too. Very comfortable as I fail it there. Yeah, this is definitely a good size little fidget knife right here, that's for sure. And a very usable blade shape. Reverse flick that hole. So this is another drop point, but a quite low drop point. But because it almost looks like the whole thing is canted up a little bit, the tip is actually quite in line with the pivot. So even still, you know, you can get a good bit of utility out of this. And because of how the flipper tab is angled, you have this forward finger troll right here that is actually quite nice. And oh, look at that, meaningful jimping in a spot that makes sense. Wow, Kunwu, it's freaking nice, man. This is the Zen Compact, so I'm assuming there is a full-size Zen that is probably about the same size as that Orion 2. This guy is a whole lot tighter within the pivot, I will say, but it's still very satisfying to deploy. It sounds quite nice. The lockup definitely sounds absolute. Side to side, up and down, just wonderful. That is something that, within my own experience, I can definitely guarantee from Kunwu. Eggshell with a little decorative little mill right there. That's nice. Again, some hollow chamfers here just to flex, really. And probably more T6 body screws. Oh man, that's pretty cool. Yeah, this is nice. This is really nice. Quite comfortable to disengage as well. Yeah, this is something that I could just sit and just mess with all day long. Now the front flipper, it does feel like it might be a little bit on the softer side. It almost looks like there's different types of jimping. The execution of jimping is not the same from the rear flipper and the front flipper. I think it would have been nice if they had the same matching jimping, because it is significantly more aggressive and extremely well tuned for the reverse flick. This feels nice. The detent on this actually does feel like it's a little bit stouter. I don't want to say stronger. I feel like just the compact nature of the flipper tab here on this particular design, you have to put a little bit more force, but not that much more than the Orion 2. But definitely, me personally, I would have preferred a little bit more aggression to the jimping here. So if they had matched it there, that's something that just would have made sense to me. If anything, they put more effort just to smoothen out the jimping there, which not a good idea. But even still, cool looking knife, very nice in hand, and the blade material is Elmax. That's pretty cool. That's a blade material that I haven't actually been able to handle much or sharpen much and really talk about it comfortably. I can talk about M390 and MagnaCut and S90V, those kinds of things. I can talk about that stuff comfortably. S35VN, S45VN, 14C28N, but Elmax, Vanix, a couple other ones out there, I just haven't handled a lot of things with that. All right, the next one looks to be a G-Mascus. That's cool. This is gonna be the first G-Mascus thing that I've ever handled. What is this thing? Oh, this is the Pulsar. Now, the Pulsar was recently just made into a fixed blade, I believe, unless you're calling it something else. But this is a crossbar lock variation of it, and I could have sworn there was even another variation of this. All right. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys know what I'm going to say at this point if you've seen some of my other content on Kunwu knives with their crossbar axle lock style knives. I do definitely believe that the execution is magnificent, but the springs that they use, for me personally, I think they're just a little too light and just kind of make the blade a little floppy. Even on my compact Chad, that's a crossbar lock knife. I replaced the springs in it immediately after I had it for a couple hours. I was messing with it and decided, yeah, that's not for me. So I went ahead and put some slightly stronger springs, and for that design, the compact Chad, I think that it strengthened it just a tiny bit. Maybe it's just in my head, probably. I know I am most definitely in the lowest percentage of people that think that these are too light of springs. It's just, yeah. It's that rattle. That's just something that, and I know no one is ever gonna do that with their knives, but yeah. So just me personally, I know the lockup, solid up and down, beautiful. Benchmade, the creator of the axis lock, could never compete with what other companies are able to produce nowadays. So of course they are the inventors of it, but really everybody else has perfected it. And Kunwu is no different. But talking about the actual knife design itself, this is nice. This is very comfortable. I do like this blade shape. Just full belly practically. So this is going to be a wonderful little slicer, and it's actually crowned over here. That's very attractive looking. The jimping here is how we saw on that, what was this thing? What the hell is this thing? Oh, the Zen. It's about the same amount of aggression as we saw on the front flipper portion of the Zen. It's definitely smoothened out a little too much, and it's more of just visually decorative, but it's there. The thought was there, and it actually, you feel it, feels good. And this is an LMAX as well. Excuse me, a little dusty here in the garage. But because this is a ambidextrous style locking mechanism, I see that you can have the clip on the other side, and this isn't the typical milled titanium clip. This is a folded, I'm assuming also a titanium clip. You could take this, it's like the looped over folded ones that should ride in the pocket very well. Flat screws and inset into the G-Mascus here, and this is some good looking stuff. It looks honestly better than pictures could ever justify. But there is zero texture or peel ply or anything. They are smooth, but they're like that, they're like a semi-chalky kind of smooth. But I think it's good enough for really anybody, unless you just have like sticks of butter for fingers. So, but yeah, that's quite nice. This is something that kind of I think it's kind of weird that Kanwu does with pretty much all their models, is that they have, I wouldn't say a lot of billboarding on their blades, but kind of an unnecessary amount of billboarding. Now they do have a lot of models, not a lot, but enough. And it could get a little confusing when it comes to the variations, because there are some special ones or limited ones that are no longer made anymore, different textures or coatings on the blades, stuff like that. But yeah, I think simple is better. There's already a lot going on here when it comes to the general lines and the G-Mascus. Of course, there are different colorways of this, but for this particular variation, this side, the left carry side, or here the show side, it's very clean. There's nothing on this side, but then you get all this on over here. So lefties will end up looking at that. So, but to operate it lefty, it is very comfortable. You just, with how weak the springs are, again, in my opinion, you practically have to carry the blade out almost all the way to lock out. And it's just not really for me, but I'm very thankful to still be checking it out. I do like the shape. It looks really good. And again, ergonomically speaking, this is it. This is pretty freaking nice. So yeah, that's good. All right, last one here. The video is long, so if you guys have made it this far, thank you. There's still quite a bit more to go. All right, this guy, the what is it? I'm trying to remember. It's a different, I know this is like the drop point one. All right, same amount of tension on the springs. Yeah, it's just, what's super impressive is that they can't seem to make much of a difference between the models. Now, I've checked out now these two. I have my compact Chad. I used to own the full-size Chad, and I will say that the spring tension is the same all across the board to me. And it's just way too light. Way too light. Yeah, but this is a good looking knife. Definitely on the larger side, not a super huge knife. This is the X-Tau. This guy is in LMAX as well. That's pretty cool. First production, so this is a numbered variation. That's quite special. 114 out of 400. That's pretty nice. You have the old school wire pocket clip. This does come on some models still, or I guess this is an extra option. But I'm not sure if they make titanium ones to fit this older one. Probably. Wouldn't surprise me if they do. I'm sure they would want to cater to the people who were, you know, the first supporters of Kunwu. It's definitely difficult to get something started, you know, right off the bat. But yeah, these guys, they came swinging with a lot of cool ideas, cool design, and the language that they, you know, have to offer the community with all their stuff, and of course the execution. Like, that's a big thing for me. The execution it's freaking beautiful. There is so much value in Kunwu, and the thing is, I hate that I hate the tension on the springs, because I'm robbing myself of enjoying so many different models. Like, honestly, like, if this was my knife, I would just suck it up. I would absolutely just suck it up, just to be able to say, like, oh yeah, I have this one, I have that one, I have, you know, I have all these other knives by Kunwu, because they make really good looking knives, and they're working with blade materials that a lot of other overseas OEMs just don't care to work with, or maybe they're just not really putting much attention to the heat treat. And, you know, they're throwing a cool you know, cool blade material, but if the heat treat is shit, like, it's not worth anything. But you're paying for that as a customer, as a consumer. You're paying for the fancy blade material, right? But if it's not heat treated, well, what's the point of it? So you're better off just having, you know, some subpar 14C28N that would probably outperform, you know, the standard M390 nowadays, that, you know, a lot of companies are just slapping together and, you know, putting out there for $300 something. So we Knife Co. definitely. This guy is quite nice. You have a little backspacer here that the jimping is actually protruding. I was feeling that in hand, not feeling in a negative way. It's just I feel it there, and it feels pretty nice actually. And this model is on the blockier side, but it's nice. A relatively crisp spine, nothing fancy or rounded off or crowned, or no jimping here. Definitely think that's something that could have been done. Not a big deal that it wasn't. This is very close this is still a drop point, but the tip is so damn high that it could be referred to as a straight back, possibly. And there are plenty of people that enjoy that blade shape as well, because of its durability and things like that, for, I guess, more abusive tasks, right? But even still, even though there's no jimping, because these studs are shaped the way that they are, they're not the traditional rounded studs. They're flat, and they have this milling here that look really cool. When your thumb kind of just sits right over it, you have triple the amount of surface area to really press down on that, and that feels really darn good. One thing that I do like a lot is that while you have the eggshell texturing here, it's not rough, it's not super textured. If these were like squeaky cleaned right now, they might be like a little slick, a little powdery feeling, like typical really clean titanium feels. But there is this little bit of micro milling here at the top and here on the sides. I think that's really cool. That's something that they do in a lot of the other models, and it's just something that I like feeling. It's just, it feels good. It definitely does feel good. So this doesn't have the fancy pivot treatment like some of their other models have, but even still, I know this was definitely one of their early models, probably one of the first that had the crossbar lock, and it's a damn good looking knife. I have zero doubt that it's an excellent performing knife as well. This one, it might need a little bit of tightening up within the pivot, a little bit of side to side, a tad bit of up and down, but again, this was probably one of the really early ones. Let's go ahead and stack these guys up. Man, that Orion is just, that's a really good looking knife. Now, if I were to purchase an Orion, I would probably chop the flipper tab and just put studs. That's just me. It's a toxic trait, I know. It's meant to be a flipper knife, but hey, I would do the same thing to a Herman as well. So, and Herman knives only does flipper tabs. So we have the Orion, the X-Tau, this guy right here, the Zen Compact. What was I gonna say? The Pulsar. No, this guy right here. This is the Pulsar. Are they all on screen? Are they all on screen? Yeah. So they're not exactly in like overall length size order, but these are the ones that Steven entrusted me and letting me check out, just so I can make a little bit of content. If he would like me to sharpen these, I don't mind at all. I think it'd be pretty fun just to get the feel of sharpening a bunch of LMAX. I don't mind. It's not a big deal to me at all. Just so I can be able to talk about it a little bit more in the future and reference it and stuff like that. But and then let me get my compact Chad. I've been missing that thing, and I almost forgot about it because I had so much other crap going on in life. I forgot that I had sent it out to him, and he held on to it for a little bit. Not that it's a big deal at all. I don't mind. But I am definitely glad to have it back. And here, like I said, wire pod clip is usually like a little extra thing that they send just because they want to give people options, which is really nice. So something that still, even nowadays, when you pay $300+, there are still so many companies that don't care to cater to the consumer. Kanwoo does, which is quite nice. Oh, yeah. See, the tension on this to me in comparison to all these other guys, and it's because the blade is shorter, a little bit more compact. This knife is also a little newer, so maybe things are a little bit tighter, allowing for me to put more emphasis on pushing it out. But damn, I miss this thing. Oh man, Steven, I hope you had a good time with it. And if you're still kind of running back and forth on whether you should get one or not, yeah, I mean, I thought you liked it quite a bit. I watched your content on it. Yeah, dude, just go get one. Just go get one. So I know they're a little bit pricey, but I think it's just wonderful fit and finish, and the language they speak and design wise, pretty darn cool. And I can definitely forgive them for putting compact with a awkward ass little gap right there between the P and the ACT. So that's something that some people have pointed out. But yeah, I freaking miss this thing. These guys, well, they're still very satisfying. They're just the blades are significantly heavier, a whole lot more mass. These things are well loved and well worn in at this point. So things aren't going to be as snappy. Of course, very early production as well. I'm sure these Omega springs have been just again very well worn in. But yeah, I miss my Chad quite a bit. Compact Chad, I gotta specify that, because the regular Chad, not for me. This little dude right here, it's me all day. I love it, and I can even forgive that it shreds up my pants with the texturing underneath the clip. All right, last thing. Jeez, we're already at 28 minutes now. Okay, let me put these guys away real quick. I don't want them just sliding around and possibly knocking into things or falling off of my space here. You guys don't get to see the crackhead ass stuff I have going on around me. I'm in the middle of other projects right now, customize wise, and it's just a mess. I had a long ass day at work today, and it feels good to be able to check out some cool stuff. It almost feels a little bit like Christmas. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. This guy right here. So, if you guys have made it this far, thank you. I love you guys and the support you guys give to me. This is also a big thing. I didn't know that this was gonna happen. He's not giving this to me. But this is here on my channel for the purpose. Now, this is the Wii. Oh yeah. Riff Raff, I believe it's called. Bro. Yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. I'm gonna have a good time with this thing. Okay, so Steven and said Stevie, I believe they probably talked about it together, or one mentioned it to the other, and Steven had the intention of sending me a different knife to customize for him, right? Because I do, some customization and have a good time with it. I'm not a professional by any means, and probably will never be able to claim that. I am just a hobbyist, but I do enjoy it, and it's really fun to get different kinds of colors and finishes. I do run into frustrating things every once in a while. I have broken some stuff, and I don't hold any warranties or things like that, unfortunately. I'm just not there yet. But right now, currently, and hopefully I post this soon and not just sleep on it, but there are a couple other individuals in the community that are hosting a competition within the modders side of the community. People who are influencers who have YouTube channels. I believe there's a separate competition for them, and then there's a competition for people who don't do YouTube and just post on whether it's forums or Facebook or X or Instagram. I have both. I have Instagram. I post all my crap on Instagram. You guys can see all the stuff that I've done through the years, customized and with metal music that I'm sure most of you guys hate, but that's just my thing. I have a fun time doing that. But I also have my YouTube channel where I do majority of my medium to longer form content like this, where I could just let my mouth run and do what it does. So Steven sent this to me with the intention to allow me to let my imagination run wild. And now having this in hand, I think I'm gonna be able to do something pretty sick with this. I don't know how long he's had this, where he got it from, doesn't matter. This thing it's a Wii. I know how Wiis are built. They are wonderful platforms for modification. The tolerances within the pivot are extremely forgiving, especially with how everything is set up with their frame locks. Quite simple construction, but I think I'll have a good time with making this thing look pretty cool. I'm going to attempt, now I'm going to practice on something else, but I'm attempting to do some cool finishes with the blade. I haven't been able to do a lot of other finishes besides my typical acid stone wash finish, because that's just what I just got good at doing, and it's probably the easiest thing you can do. It's hard to mess up an acid stone wash. It is. It's there to literally hide imperfections, and scratches. So I want to move away from that a little bit and try doing something else. I have new tools in my arsenal to use to enter into the competition, to provide different finishes and things like that. I have a handful of polishing compounds. Seeing how this backspacer piece here is, I think I can do some cool stuff with that. And I want to just bust out all the kind of stuff that I could think about when it comes to anodization and visual textures and stuff like that. I don't really think I have much of a shot in comparison to a lot of the other incredibly talented individuals out there within the modifying community. There are some things out there that people do that I'm just like, I just couldn't be able to do that, not anytime soon at least. I'd have to literally destroy, ruin, or fuck up, however way you want to look at it. I would have to go through a lot of knives before I really get it down. But pressure is definitely something that is my friend, and I do there is a little bit of pressure on me because this is not my knife. This is a friend's knife, and the last thing I want to do is ruin it. Sorry for my dog barking back there. I don't know how to edit things out, so it's just gonna be how it is. I don't want to ruin his knife, even though he gave me full permission to practically obliterate it. Of course, I was still gonna be as careful with it as possible, as careful as I am with my own personal knives. And if you guys know me, I baby my stuff. I use all my stuff, but I baby it realistically. I'm not trying to pry off bomb shelter doors or chop down trees with a folding pocket knife, right? But again, as I mentioned before, Steven said Stevie, anybody else who talked about it and convinced Steven to send me something to enter into the competition, because I had zero intention of entering it on my own. But thank you guys for thinking about me and for supporting me. It's something that's kind of rare in my life, so I'm not trying to get super touchy-feely, but it feels good. It feels good that somebody thought about me, which is pretty nice. So but yeah, I think I'll be able to do something really cool with this, and Steven, WorkKnifeBalance will have a I don't want to call it a masterpiece, but something of the sort. So, as all the cool stuff that I could possibly think of at the moment. And maybe this is content that I'll see, you know, years into the future, or that other people will see years into the future and see what I'm doing then and be like, that's the kind of shit that guy did. Wow, he's come a long way, possibly. I don't know. But yeah, this video's run on long enough, 35 minutes. If you guys, again, made it this far, thank you so much. I appreciate all your guys' support and your patience, of course. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like down below. If you are subscribed already, thank you again. And with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.